Ready? Good morning, everybody. I call to order the OLA's Subcommittee on Topic Selection Evaluation. Got that close. Appreciate folks' time, and I just wanted to note that we had to start a little late because the Senate was getting glamour shots this morning. So hope that went well, and we're gonna have to wrap up by 10:15. So my hope is that we can get to 15 of the choices starting from the 100 and some that got submitted by the public, by legislators, by other agencies, and by citizens. So with that, I think I'm going to turn it over to Auditor Randall and Ms. Rodriguez to sort of walk us through our work today. And hopefully by then we will be a full quorum or a full bunch. Thank you. Turn it over to you.
Great. Thank you, Madam Chair and members. For the record, my name is Jody Munson Rodriguez. I'm the Deputy Legislative Auditor for OLA's Program Evaluation Division. To get us started, I just wanted to walk you through the different items that are in the packet that you all received. First, I'll just call your attention to the blue piece of paper. This is the topic selection agenda that we're planning on following. So you'll see that for today, March 4th, our intention is to narrow down that large list of topics to 15. We'll take those 15 back to the office, do some preliminary research for you all on those, come back with a one-page background paper on each of them. And then the intention would be on March 20th to further narrow down that list to about 10. As a reminder, we've kind of taken that extra step in our process so that we can inform all of you if there are certain topics up for selection that might be not very feasible, if they might be not very timely, so we can kind of eliminate those right off the bat. After we get it down to 10 topics, we will then put out a survey to the legislature to gauge interest across legislators. And then we'll bring that information back to you along with all of the background information April 8th. And that's when our intention would be to select the final 5. If I can take your interest or your attention over to the yellow piece of paper, just as a reminder, that survey and the results of it are just a small piece of the information we provide you for you to make your final decision on topics. The Legislative Audit Commission has adopted 6 different criteria that it uses to determine which topics we will evaluate for the upcoming year. So you see these include things like state resources, the timeliness of that particular topic, and balance. So that would be, so that we're not, for example, doing 5 evaluations all on education in one year. And I'll note that the background papers that we prepare for you are all based on those criteria. And last, I'll just call your attention to this long list of evaluation topics that we've put together for you. As Representative Greenman noted, these come from all over. So I want to thank you all for helping us to get evaluation topics from your members. We've got a lot of different ideas from legislators, but we also have been getting topics from citizens, from whistleblowers, from state agency folks, kind of all over state government and just the state in general for the last year. So this represents a wide variety of interests. You see that we have 97 topics right now in a wide variety of areas. And so I thought I would just walk through a couple of the topics that we thought might be the most promising based on a few different factors, if that's okay. Okay, so just a note, as you see, we have just the list of topics for easy reference on pages 1 and 2, and then we move into some suggested questions on page 3. Page 3 has to do with corrections and public safety. If you move on to page 4, I'll call your attention to number 8, guardianship of adults. That is a topic that OLA has never looked at. And in just looking at it very kind of preliminarily, it seems that there may be some gaps there where we could provide some information that could be helpful. Number 9, the Minnesota Board of Public Defense. I'll note that was on the short list last year, and we found that one to be a particularly promising topic. We've got a number of them under economic development, energy, and commerce. Page 6, education, but I'll kind of move you quickly along to page 7. Under Environment, Natural Resources, and Agriculture, number 30, I'll just note that aggregate mining operations was one that was selected last year, but it was put on the back burner. We unfortunately didn't have the resources to get to it, but we do still think that could be a promising topic. Moving along, page 9 has government operation topics, and page 10, we start with health. On that page, page 10, number 50, I'll just draw your attention to the Board of Nursing topic. We have heard a number of concerns about the Board of Nursing. It's something we looked at 9 years ago. It may be a good time for us to go back and see what, if anything, has changed in that time. Page 11, you see we move on to human services. And on page 12, number 63, we have management of DHS Behavioral Health Division. This is one that we have received a number of concerns on from legislators, staff, just kind of a number of different areas. And this could be a place where OLA could really provide a neutral eye on what's happening there. Moving on to page 14, we go on to transportation. I'll just note number 79 is the MnDOT safety inspections. This was one where we received a number of specific concerns about safety inspections. We think that they're serious concerns, and it's a place where we could maybe add some value here to see what's kind of happening. And then page 15, we move into our catch-all of other. There's a number of things there, but I'll just call attention to the last one, page 16, number 92. Oversight of Minnesota veteran homes. I'll note that last year we received a number of concerns about this. This year we received a number of concerns as well. We haven't looked at this in a very long time, so it might be a good time for us to do so. So that is my quick 5-minute spiel. Are there any questions before we move on in the process?
Just a quick question about process, because there's some places where there may be a few questions that are similar, overlapping. I am wondering as we get there, are there opportunities to sort of combine questions or think about that, if it makes sense to sort of a stronger inquiry?
Sure. And I'll note that in putting this list together, we did try to pay attention to places where we got a number of similar questions or concerns, and we tried to already do that where we could. Most of the time, you'll see that there's some pretty distinct areas of interest in the different topics.
Thank you. Representative Quam, a question about the process before we dig in. Go, Representative Quam.
Yeah. What we've tended to do in the past is a lot of the clarifying happens between 15 and the 10. And so it might be, because of the 10-10 cutoff, better if we get our selection. If there happens to be two that are real close together, we can do some of that, but focus on the exact final verbiage maybe when we narrow to 10. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Representative Quam. I think that is a good suggestion. And I think what I think I'll do to sort of make us move quicker, and I think that we did this in the last, when we were here a year ago, was I'm going to go around, there's 6 of us, and ask everybody for their top 3. And let's see if there's any overlap. And then if there's overlap, let's put that in. I think at the minimum, we could walk out of here if everybody has their top 2, and then we working on the last 3, but I'm hoping we can get to everything. So let's see where we're at after the top, after people list their 3. And if you all can help me just keep track, that will be helpful. So I am going to start, I think, with maybe our co-chairs looking to my, or our co-chairs of the whole thing, the whole task force looking to my left, Senator Cran, maybe if you want to start, then
I sure will. So I'll go with my first 3 draft choices. So I'm going to go with number 2, Department of Corrections complaint and investigation process. The next one would be number 8, and that's guardianship for adults. And then number 41, government data practices, public data requests.
Got it. And then turn it over to you, Co-Chair Representative Hanson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would go with 26, Minnesota State Colleges and Universities faculty pay. Number 37, Minnesota Department of Agriculture Water Quality Certification Program. And then number 82, broadband infrastructure. But I would like to have a discussion about aggregate being held over. If we should just, I don't want to burn one of my three on that, but I think we should just have the discussion that we picked it last year and whether we should proceed with that, but.
Thank you, Chair Hanson. Representative Kwan.
$58, $97.62.
Can you, just for the benefit of the committee, just read the title of what those are? Also giving a chance to.
Okay, 97 is voter registration system. Looking, we had done in 18, a little bit of look at, but but this would be including how has it helped we passed a lot of stuff. How has it helped turnout?
Yep.
And then have there been any, verification or other issues that we might need to clarify?
And then what was 58? Just the title is helpful.
Minnesota Department of Health and Human Services. It's basically looking over, there have been quite a few whistleblowers, and the feedback we've been getting is that there's been repercussions to people whistleblowing about fraud. I mean, there's been some high
Okay.
profile stuff.
And then you had one more. I have 58,
62.
97, 62, which is in-home daycare. Okay, Senator Barr. Sorry for promoting you.
That's right. Thank you, Madam Chair. 13, Department of Employment and Economic Development Grants Management. And then 33, Department of Natural Resources Land Acquisition. And 92, Oversight of Minnesota Veterans Homes.
Thank you. And then Senator Dibble.
Number 8. Hoping that you might be able to fold in number 7.
So I'm sorry, I'll repeat that. So number 8, which I have in common with Senator Cran, but also conflicted because I'd like to touch on number 7 as well. So I don't know if that's 2 or if we can kind of lump them. Okay, I'll say 7 and 8 then. And then 82 broadband.
Did you have a third?
Well, they said I couldn't separate out 7 and 8.
I see Auditor Randall. Do you want to clarify whether we can do 7 and 8 together and think about them together? Or Ms. Rodriguez?
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll just note that the Guardian Ad Litem Board is a specific board that is within the judicial branch. It's very different from the processes run by the judicial branch itself that governs the guardianship of adults. And so they are 2 very different programs with different structures and individuals involved.
Okay.
So I don't think it would be possible to look at them together.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. So I have 7, 8, and 82. And then I am gonna go with 15, economic concentration on small businesses. 51, which is the community benefits expenditures at nonprofit hospitals. And then 26, the faculty pay at Minnesota State Colleges and Universities. So with that, I think we have a few overlaps. It looks like we have, and you guys maybe are keeping it more than I am, Ms. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Actually, we are at 15. And we could certainly include the aggregate mining
Addition.
along with that. I can read them for you if you'd like.
Oh, thank you. Go ahead. Good. Yes, thank you.
Sure. So the numbers that I
Fine.
have, and this is including any overlap, these are all of them that have been mentioned, would be number 2, Department of Corrections Complaint and Investigation Processes. Number 7, Guardian Ad Litem Board. Number 8, Guardianship of Adults. Number 13, Department of Employment and Economic Development Grants Management. Number 15, Impact of Economic Concentration on Small Businesses. Number 26, Minnesota State Colleges and Universities Faculty Pay. Number 33, Department of Natural Resources Land Acquisition. Number 37, Minnesota Department of Agriculture Water Quality Certification Program. Number 41, Data Practices Requests. Number 51, Community Benefit Expenditures at Nonprofit Hospitals. Number 58, Minnesota Department of Health Human Resources. Number 62, In-Home Daycare. Number 82, Broadband Infrastructure. Number 92, Oversight of Minnesota Veterans Homes. And number 97, Voter Registration System.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez.
And Madam Chair, if you would like, in addition to those 15, to include aggregate mining for consideration, we can certainly add that one in along with the 15.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. Chair Hanson.
I would move the 15 as identified plus the aggregate mining.
So moved. Any discussion? Any need for additional process? This will be amazing. With that, all in favor of the 15 plus aggregate mining, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Great. The ayes have it. We have our 16. And then can you remind us of what happens next in terms of our schedule and for the public?
Yes, absolutely. So we will prepare background papers on those 16 topics, and we will meet again on Wednesday, March 20th. We're scheduled at 2:30 to further narrow down that list to 10.
Great. And then remind me, we go from then 10 to 5.
Correct. So then we will do the survey and we will meet again, first the subcommittee to get the 5 suggested topics, and then the LAC will meet, the full LAC will meet directly after that on April 8th at 9 a.m. to approve.
Great. Thank you. And thank you, members. I would just say, having gone through this last year, now is a good time to start talking to your colleagues about the 15. So when we get to the conversation about the 5, it is not a last minute conversation in caucus. So with that, thank you for the efficient work. I think we are adjourned. Thank you.
Yes.